well. Today I want to talk about mental health and abuse, and it's a very sad fact that these two often go hand in hand. And sometimes it can be that abuse results in mental health. Other times it can be that someone with a mental health problem is being abused. There's a lot of different angles on this one, and I'm not going to go into great depth with it. It's one of those things that again is an onion. It's got so many different layers, but I'm going to talk about those two main areas there. So the first one is a lot of people who develop mental health problems have been through some kind of abuse, either in childhood or in adulthood, and it's affected their brain development, but it's also massively affected their view of themselves. They often feel that they're not worthy of love, and I mean, there's so many different mental health conditions, it's hard to sort of put a term over everything, but abuse affects the brain. We know that. We've seen that any kind of trauma, whether it be physical or verbal, actually does affect the connections in the brain, the way the brain develops, especially if this is in early childhood. That there's lots of ways that the brain develops in a different way, and so people that are abused in childhood, that they're actually literally are wired in a different way. And that is why I work with children, and why it's so important when we suspect abuse around children that we act, we stand up and we say something, because this is long-term damage that is being caused. But even if the abuse doesn't start till later in their life and their brain's been wired fine, that abuse they carry with them. It can be either through a learnt behaviour. They watch how other people treat each other, and therefore they learn, and that can become a problem. It can lead to personality disorders. It can lead to depression. It can lead to aggression. So what people witness can have an impact on their mental health. Domestic violence, domestic abuse, for example, children that witness that. And domestic abuse is not throwing punches. It is much more than that. Obviously, throwing punches, throwing anything, hitting, slapping is domestic abuse. But it's also how you talk to someone, how you control them, how you tell them what they can and can't do, how you monitor everything, all of those things. And that affects someone's, if you think about that, if someone's telling you that every single day, what you can and can't do, who you can and can't talk to, where you can go, whether you're worthy of love, yet they're the only ones that are going to love you, no one else will put up with you, that's going to sink in, and people's mental health is going to drop. So, and the other side of that is actually people who have mental health problems are often more likely to attract an abusive partner because they're vulnerable. They're already feeling those things. They feel low, and this abuser comes in and pretends to be wonderful, and they're going to look after them, and they get them, no one else better than anyone else. And then once they've got them, they suddenly turn off the charm and reveal their true colours, and they abuse the person to stay with them, and that can have massive impact on someone who may already have mental health problems. Those are just going to be exacerbated by this continued abuse. Abuse can also come from the wider society. It could be someone walking down the street saying something to someone who, I don't know, maybe they've got schizophrenia and they're talking to themselves, and that is abuse. It can be in care homes. There's lots of cases where people in care homes have been abused by people. These are vulnerable people, and where there's a control issue, like people caring or relatives, friends, family, there's lots of ways that abuse can happen. Unfortunately, mental health it is a big risk factor. So if you know anyone who you think is being abused, or you have concerns, or if you're watching this and you think you are an abuser, get help. Get help for that person, but make sure that it's done in a safe way, because you've got to be careful not to antagonise the situation. You don't want to make it worse. So, for example, someone was in a care home and you suspected, try and get evidence first. Try and get what you can so you can go to the police, because if you go in and say to the home you think this is going on, you could make the situation worse for the patient. So please do be careful how you go about it. There's lots of advice lines out there. Ring them, talk it over, find out how best you can support someone who you suspect may be suffering abuse, or someone who you think may be a perpetrator of abuse, and find out exactly what you can do to help them. But do be aware that if you suffer with mental health yourself, be aware of the people you're allowing into your lives. Look for the warning signs. Look for how they treat you. Are they different in public to what they are behind closed doors? Are they lovely one minute, horrible the next? These are all the things that you should be looking for in the early stages of knowing someone, and they're the warning signs for you to look out for, that maybe they're not the person that they think that you think they are, or that they're trying to portray. I'd love to hear your stories. I'd love to know what your feelings are, and if you've had any experience, or either firsthand or through someone else. Please do share. And take care, everyone, and take care of each other. Bye-bye.